guys, welcome back to Fishing with Katie. If you don't know me, I'm Katie Asselson, the Lakeland District Executive here at the Winnebago Council. So today we're going to be doing what's in my tackle box. So if you were doing our virtual camp out and saw my Facebook Live where I showed you my campsite, you've seen this guy before, but I want to take you through it and kind of show you some of the cool stuff I have in here and talk about my top things that you should have in your tackle box. Now, if you're a beginning fisherman, don't worry about having a super fancy tackle box like this. Really, you can just buy a $10 one at Walmart. Personally, I like these soft-sided tackle boxes that are a little bit insulated. That way, if you want to have some live bait, you can throw it in there. But you want to make sure that they're big enough to be able to hold all your tackle that you're taking with you. All right, without further ado, let's take a deeper look at my tackle box and I can show you some of the ins and outs of mine and show you what I have. Now, what I like about this tackle box is that it's soft-sided, but it's also a backpack, so it's easy to carry. It's also really big, so it helps me keep everything organized and I can take care of all my needs. So we'll start from the top and then go to the sides and then go down. So this hard part here helps protect my sunglasses, so I just keep those in there. It's nice to have a pair of sunglasses on you just in case you have a really sunny day and you can protect your eyes. This part here, which I will kind of open up so you can see, this is insulated so you can keep live bait in here. You can also keep drinks, like I have some water in here. I don't have any live bait right now, but it's just kind of a nice option. Personally, I really like to use live bait, so that makes it really nice for me to keep that live bait alive and cool. On this pocket, I've got my fishing license. You always want to make sure if you are 16 years old and above that you have a fishing license. Keep that up to date and on you in case the DNR comes around and they want to see if you have one. If you're under the age of 16, you actually don't need one, which is kind of nice. All right, in this pocket, let's see what's in here. I got my trusty first aid kit. So first aid kit, very important to just make sure if you do get any cuts or you accidentally hook yourself, you've got a variety of bandages, antiseptics, just in case you get hurt. It's just a great thing to have. In this pocket down here, I've got a couple different things. I've got a pair of scissors, and actually I like these scissors because they have the handle that's big enough for my adult hand, but they're short so they're not taking up too much room. And I also have a pair of, they're not quite needle nose pliers, but they're longer pliers. And this can help get the hooks out of fish and also help me with my split shot, which I showed you guys how to do last week. So they're a really handy thing to have. What's nice is that they're in this little carrier, and if I have a belt, they just go right on my belt. And this front compartment here, got some extra line, which is always good to have, just in case your rod runs out of line. I also have my multi-tool, which I showed you guys last week. And I really highly recommend having a multi-tool, just because it allows you to just have so much versatility. With this one, I can put sinkers on, the split shot ones. I've got a little flashlight that I can use to look at stuff. It's also got a short, it's got a short knife on there, so if I need to cut line or if I need to cut something. It's got a saw in case I need to saw a branch or something. There's a can opener, which is nice in case I need to open a can. And I have a screwdriver on there as well. So just a lot of function, a lot of purpose. So highly recommend getting one of these guys, or at least having a pair of pliers and scissors. Now with that, I get to the fun stuff. So this big compartment here actually has all my utility boxes in it. What's nice about a lot of the tackle boxes is that they actually come with these utility compartments already in them. so you don't have to buy them separately. So that makes it so much easier when you are trying to buy your supplies to go on a fishing trip. So I currently don't have all these filled up, but I will show you once they do. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the first utility box, which is probably the more boring of the two. And this one I just have all my bobbers. I've got 2 different types. So I like these a little bit better. Typically you'll see the classic red and white ones, but I feel like these hold up a little bit better. They also make a little bit of noise, so you might want to be careful if you don't want to have ones that make noise. But what's nice is that they are really easy to use. But some of the red and white ones, they can get a little bit on the janky side and be hard to use. These are also a great option, especially if you are just beginning. Really easy to use and push down. So you can just get them on your line and be ready to go. With bobbers, they're actually a really good tool because they allow you to control the depth of your hook, and they also allow you to see if a fish grabs the bait so you can reel in your line. So they have multiple purposes. All right, this is my other utility box. So as you can see, I've got a variety of stuff in here. I really highly recommend making sure that your utility boxes stay really pretty organized so that you can just quickly grab what you need and be on your way. So in here, I've got some little plastic worm lures. I've also got some fancier lures, and I'll talk about those later. 3 different sizes of split shot, some larger ones if I wanted to sink a little deeper, and some smaller ones if I don't want to sink quite as much. I also have a variety of sizes of hooks, and I recommend having that because you never know, you might just be going for something a little bit smaller, so which this hook would be good for, or you might be trying to go for that big kahuna, which you will need a little bit larger hook for. I also have some jig heads, and like I talked about last week, these guys allow you to put your hook on without having to worry about a sinker or a split shot. And I've got 2 types. I have this guy here, which is just kind of like a normal jig head. And I have this guy, and you can see it's got these 2 funny looking little wires hanging out here. The reason why these are a little bit different is that they help you hold your bait on your hook a little better. If you've ever done any type of fishing, sometimes your bait will slide off your hook or slide down your hook, and this allows it to stay more upright on your hook and have a little bit better control of your bait. For hooks, I highly recommend going with the Eagle Claw kind. I feel like that's a great brand. I've used them numerous times and never had any issues, so good brand to go with. With the lures here, so I got 2 different types, and really these are just going to be able to catch the fish's attention when they're moving in the water. This guy's 2 tails are kind of going to move. He's really bright, so allow the fish to see him as well. These guys, they've got kind of fun little tails going on too. So as I'm reeling in my hook, they'll be able to see it, and I'll be moving around and also catch the fish's attention. Now, if I'm, feeling a little adventurous and doing some specifically bass fishing, these guys are going to be really fun to use. It's called a spinner bait. So what's neat about him is that it's got this kind of like very reflective piece. So this is going to catch the sun and the light and reflect and catch the fish's attention. The movement of this piece of these strings are going to catch the fish's attention, especially as it's moving. And as you can see, it's got a really pretty big hook on it, so it would be great for a nice big bass to get hooked onto here. For the sizes of hooks, if your hook is really big like this, you're probably not going to catch a smaller fish. You might, but most likely you're not. But with the small hooks, you will. The only problem with the small hooks is that if you are trying to catch something larger, you're not going to be able to get them quite as well with the small hook as you would a larger hook. All right, and with that, that is what all I have in my personal tackle box. Now, some of the things I showed you are a little bit fancier, and you do not need them. What I highly recommend that you have in your tackle box is a first aid kit, pliers or scissors, or a multi-tool like I showed you. You want bait, and that can either be live or plastic. Personally, I like more live bait than plastic bait, but I'll typically carry both on me just in case I run out of live bait. I still have some plastic bait to use instead. Always have hooks, always have extra hooks. You never know what's gonna happen. You get caught on a rock or a branch or something, and so it's always good to be prepared. Sinkers, always good to have the sinkers so that you can make sure you're getting your hook to the depth. And I recommend having those rather than the jig heads if you're a less experienced fisherman. That way, because the jig heads do cost a little bit more, that way you're saving a little bit of money. You're always gonna want some extra line. Something could happen and with your rod and you could lose a bunch of line, so it's always good to have a bunch of extra line on you just in case. Bobbers are always a good thing as well. Your fishing license is a must, especially if you are over the age of 16, and some sunscreen and water. Making sure you're staying protected in the sun. I know I didn't have sunscreen here today, but that's something that I would carry with me. And always having extra water, extra food and snacks on you as well, just in case, just so that you're staying hydrated and well-fueled throughout your fishing trip. I also showed you some fancy, pretty fancy lures. You don't need those. Those are just something that I have just in case I want to do some really intense bass fishing, but not needed at all for you to have a fun day at a lake or pond or a stream. And with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you guys next week for our final fishing video of the series, where I'm going to teach you guys how to cast, and I might do some fishing as well. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.